The Helari Empire had conquered 100 systems, enslaved 1,000 species, and bent time itself to the will of its golden crown. Its capital moon, the Rex, shimmered like a jewel carved from starlight, and its rulers viewed themselves not as monarchs, but as gods with dynasties written in the bones of the galaxy. It had been 10,000 years since anyone had said no to the Helari, and lived.
Until they met her.
Amara Reyes was born in a mining dome beneath the frozen crust of Europa, her lungs burning with recycled air and her eyes shaped by dust storms and low gravity. Her father had died a forgotten engineer aboard a broken Martian trade liner. Her mother, Amihan Reyes, was a community educator, once arrested for teaching banned Terran history to children of the lower dome. Amara grew up with her nose in contraband books, her mind sharpened by rebellion. By 23, Amara was Earth's youngest orbital strategist, fluent in 9 languages, feared in military simulations, and loved by none. She wasn't made of charm or grace, she was made of quiet fury and sleepless nights. Her superiors said she never smiled. Her subordinates followed her like she was gravity itself. When the Helari emissary ship pierced Earth's lunar blockade, it did not bring fire. It brought silk and honeyed words. The High Prince Valus, second son of the Star Throne, had seen Amara during a scientific summit broadcast from Mars Station Theta. She had stood beneath a floating hologram of the Milky Way, explaining the logic of wormhole decay. Her hair was in a tight braid, her jaw angled in contempt as she corrected a Helari scholar live on stream. Her defiance was magnetic. To the Helari, who took what they wanted, she was perfect. The proposal came not in whispers, but in commands. Amara would marry the prince. She would be elevated, worshipped, lavished with titles and galaxies. Earth, if it obeyed, would become a favored protectorate, spared the usual conquest. Earth did not speak for 3 days. The Helari took this as hesitation. A dangerous mistake. Amara did not hesitate. She spoke with the same voice that had silenced Martian senators and orbital admirals. No. The word echoed not just in the Galactic Senate's crystal chamber, but across thousands of satellite feeds. Billions watched as she stood, hands folded behind her back, lips set in stone. She did not flinch. She did not bow. The prince smiled. Not in kindness, but in anticipation. You misunderstand, Earthling, he said, voice smooth as gravity wells. It was not a request. Amara's eyes gleamed. Then let me be clear. Earth is not for sale. And I am no one's bride. Helari War protocols began that night. The first orbital barrage took out Earth's Neptune gates. Colonies on Titan and Ganymede went dark within hours. The Helari did not launch a full invasion, they expected surrender. After all, one woman had denied them. Surely, Earth would correct her. But Earth had changed since the last time it had been invaded. It had watched its cities drown, its skies choke, and its people scatter across the solar winds. It had buried empires and rebuilt from ash. And in the silence that followed the first strike, Earth made its choice. It sent a fleet. Not a traditional armada, but a swarm forged in silence, stealth destroyers crafted in asteroid belts, AI-guided gunships blacker than space itself, carriers grown from organic alloy mined in Jupiter's magnetic storms. These were not proud ships, but feral ones, their captains bred in gravity wells and trained in sacrifice. And at the center of it all, Amara Reyes, not in chains, not in a gown, but in the command chair of the ESS Vindicator, Earth's most advanced battleship. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Malu E. Condeo, once described her gaze as the kind of cold that set stars shivering. The Helari laughed. Until the Vindicator breached their outer rim defenses without being seen. Until the Black Sun drones jammed their planetary shields. Until the satellites they controlled turned their weapons inward. The Battle of the Rex was not a war. It was a message. A precise and deliberate unmaking of an empire that had never tasted fear. Amara's fleet didn't conquer, they dismantled. They didn't kill Helari civilians, they broadcast their suffering back to their golden throne. Every city reduced to silence was followed by a poem in Old Earth tongue, read by Amara herself, her voice low and venomous. You asked for my hand. Now receive Earth's answer. Not in flowers, but in fire. In the span of 5 days, the Helari armory moons were turned into refugee camps. Their slave networks collapsed as Earth operatives leaked gate codes. Species long conquered rose in revolt, emboldened by the sight of one Terran woman commanding a fleet of ghosts. The High Prince begged for parley within a week. Amara did not meet him in person. She sent a diplomat. Not to negotiate peace, but terms of surrender. The terms were not generous. They were historic. The Rex was evacuated. Its royal palace was turned into a museum of resistance. The crown jewels were placed in Earth's first refugee hall, beside relics from Hiroshima, Lagos, and the Mars Uprising. Amara refused medals.
She returned to Europa, not as a queen, but as a builder.
Her only request was a single star, newly mapped, to be named after her mother. It was approved unanimously by Earth's Global Council and registered in the Celestial Archive as Amahan's Light. But in the outer systems, her legends spread like solar storms. They called her the Unwed General,
The woman who said no. The bride of no one.
the flame that burned the crown. Young girls on the mining stations of Vesta began braiding their hair the way Amara did. Songs were written in languages once thought extinct, and pirates renamed their ships after her war poems. Rebel factions who had fought for centuries without hope now carried her hologram into battles as if it were a banner. And when other empires heard the name Amara Reyes, they remembered.
Earth does not kneel.
And its daughters do not belong to anyone. Even a century later, when the Helari attempted to rebuild, their architects hesitated to place thrones above ground. Statues of their old kings were melted down and reforged into monuments of memory, proof that once a girl from Europa said no loud enough to break an empire. And in the dark corners of space, when power grows too proud, some whisper a single warning.
Don't ask Earth for a bride.
Unless you're ready for war.